Good morning everyone. Today's our topic is REST web services. Before that, we can discuss one more time about web services. Web services are of two kinds. One is SOAP and another one is REST. SOAP means simple object access protocol. REST means representational state transfer. So SOAP defines a standard communication protocols, means set of rules, specification for XML based message exchange. In SOAP uses different transport protocols such as HTTP and SMTP. We know that HTTP is very frequent one, hypertext transfer protocol. So coming to the REST is a software architecture style that relies on a stateless communication protocols, most commonly again HTTP. REST structures data in XML or any other format that is machine readable. And another one we have usually, that is JSON, most widely used one. JSON means JavaScript object notation, XML means extensible markup language. When it comes to the SOAP service, developers must and should provide WSDL. Once we received the WSDL, we will create the requests using XML. WSDL means web services description language. When developer says it is a SOAP service, then developers will provide the WSDL file. Based on our requirements, we will create the XMLs using WSDL. When it comes to the REST, developers will say it is a REST service. In that case, they can inform to the testers that what type of REST service it is. We have different RESTful methods. We have different RESTful methods called get, put, post, delete. We can look into the each and every method. Before that, we can see why there are different services like REST services, SOAP service. We can look into the differences between SOAP service and REST services. So when the client makes any request to this web services, it can simply any of the methods like we can say any of the methods or any of the HTTP verbs called these four: get, put, post and delete. Before that, we can look into the some of the differences why developers should use SOAP protocol, SOAP service, why developers should use RESTful methods. So along with that, in REST services, we can use XML or JSON to transfer the data between different applications. JSON is most widely used data format for data interchange on the web. JSON means JavaScript object notation. JSON means JavaScript object notation. So for Max applications and libraries can pass the JSON data very easily. Good about JSON is its mission readable format. Okay, and one more important point is a RESTful API is an application program interface that uses all these HTTP requests means get, put, post and delete methods. Mainly APIs are emerging to expose web services. Another important point is REST is a logical choice for building APIs. APIs means application programming interfaces that allow users to connect on internet with cloud services. And another important on REST is it has designed to be stateless, and REST methods can be cached for better performance and scalability. We can mention these are main advantages for RESTful services. One is performance and another one is scalability. Okay, and another one is REST supports many data formats. Like many means mainly we will use XML and JSON, and when it comes to the SOAP we will use only XML because developer will provide only WSDL. But when it comes to the REST, developer can provide either XML or JSON. Coming to the testing perspective, as we are learning these all topics related to the testing, so when it comes to the testing perspective, if people is following either waterfall methodology or agile methodology or Kanban methodology, whatever methodology your projects are following, in requirements phase, when for example I can take it as agile methodology, in that process once we received a requirements, when requirements walkthrough is conducted, in that time developers and BAs should inform to the tester that these services related to the REST, these services related to the SOAP. Based on that we should be ready with our test data, or if we have any queries. And when coming to the comparison, which is better, REST or SOAP? In that case, REST allows a greater variety of data formats, whereas SOAP only allows XML, which we discussed in detail just now. Coming to the JSON, it's coupled with JSON, which typically works better with data and offers faster parsing. That is the main reason why we are using JSON. If anyone asks in an interview why it's JSON not XML, both are platform independent only, but still mainly we will use JSON compared with others, which typically works better with data and offers faster parsing. REST is generally considered easier to work with, and REST is generally faster and uses less bandwidth. That is also another advantage for web services. So these are the main advantages of SOAP and REST, which one is best. So as we talking about the projects in agile methodology, if it is REST, mainly we should know what are the methods going to be used. In that case, based on that we will prepare our test data. And coming to the explanation, to start with the explanation of RESTful methods, first one is get. Okay, so when we use get requests, that means we will use it is to retrieve resource representation information only and not to modify data. Whenever we use get method, we can say it is for read the data. For any given HTTP GET API, if the resource is found on the server, then it must return HTTP response code. In our earlier sessions, we discussed about HTTP status codes. When it is 200, that is okay. That means we received valid response from the server. Second one is post method. When it's get method, we should know that we are using this method to retrieve the data. When it is post, we should know that this is for create data in the database. Whatever data we send to the server, it should save into the database. Another one is put, to modify the data. Delete means to delete a resource. I will give you some more detailed information. Coming to the get method again. So when we send a request to the server, we should receive the response from the server. Whenever we receive the response body, which is usually either XML or JSON content. As we said, REST we can use either one of the format of the data. So based on the requirement, whatever we decided in requirement phase, we should receive either XML or JSON content. In case the resource is not found on the server, then it must return HTTP response code 404. It's 200 is okay, right? When it is 404, that means it is not found. What is not found? Resource is not found on server, then it must return not found. Similarly, if it is determined that get request itself is not correctly formed, then server will return HTTP response code is 400. 400 means bad request. I am repeating these 3 points again because which is very important coming to the REST. We will come to know what is the problem. First one is HTTP GET API. If the resource is found on the server, then it must return HTTP response code, that is 200, which is okay. So we received the valid response from the server. Second one is, if in case resource is not found on server, then server will return HTTP response code 404. That means resource is not found on the server. And third one is, when GET request itself is not correctly formed, because we are sending the wrong resource name or wrong input data to request the data on the server from the server. In that case, we will receive 400, which is bad request. These are mainly we will use. And another one, moving to the another method, that is post. Use post APIs to create new subordinate resources, and post methods are used to create new resources into the collection of resources. Here also, when it is successful that data is created or resource is created into the database, we will receive the code as HTTP status code as 200. Ideally, if a resource has been created on the origin server, the response should be HTTP response code 201 also created. Here 200, 201, based on the feasibility, we will receive 200 or 201 when it has created. Moving to the another one, put. Put APIs are primarily to update existing resource. So modify. Update means it's modify. If you want to modify any of the data, any of the resource in the database, we can use put method. Another one is, at the same time we can talk about patch. There is one more method which is similar to the put method. Put patch. What patch method it will do is it will be used for partial update. Patch APIs and requests are to make partial update on resources. Put means it's primarily update the existing resources. And final one is delete method. Delete APIs and methods primarily to delete existing resources. Mainly when it comes to the REST web services, we should know what are the methods available to test RESTful services. Put, get, put, post, patch, delete. Mainly we should know about each and every method, what is the functionality of the method. So in web services we spoke about SOAP web services, SOAP testing and REST testing. If it is SOAP, we are using SOAP AI tool to import the WSDL, and based on our requirement we will create the requests and we will send the data to the server and we will receive the responses, we validate. Along with that we have another tool, that is HP service test. And Ready API. We have different tools and SOAP AI Pro as well. In that only free one is SOAP AI tool is the free tool, open source tool. That is the reason we are using SOAP AI tool. Otherwise HP service test, which will be integrated with the load runner, which is very costly, we will not use for any functional testing, web services functional testing. Another one, Ready API and SOAP AI Pro, also licensed tools only, but depends on the company. If they want to buy it, they will buy and work on these tools. Otherwise everyone, max people will use SOAP AI tool because it is open source tool. Coming to the REST services and REST testing, along with all the tools we have another tool called PostMan, which is open source tool like SOAP AI. So we can use either PostMan tool or SOAP AI tool to do RESTful web services testing. We can have a look into the PostMan tool first, because already we have seen how to use SOAP AI tool in our earlier sessions. So first, to start with PostMan tool, we should navigate to the PostMan. So coming to the Google ones, and here I will type https://www.getpostman.com downloads. Okay, this is the URL we can download PostMan. Okay, I will copy that URL here because I can send this data to you guys and it will be useful for our reference. So coming to this portal, here you can see download Get Postman for Windows. Here in download you can see 32-bit or 64-bit, which one we want we can download that one and we can install. In Mac OS also we can install Postman tool, which is open source, as I said, same as SOAP AI tool. So once we download 32-bit or 64-bit, it will download. After that we can install into our machine. Once install Postman into our machine, the icon will come like this on your desktop. Double click on Postman, it will open like this. This is the user interface of the Postman tool. Simply we have to remember that Postman is a API testing tool, API client. It is a open source. Simply we can go to this portal and download and install based on your bit. that it's based on your operating system. It will be either 32-bit or 64-bit. So once coming to the Postman, once we open Postman tool, it will be user interface looks like this, and here mainly Postman provides a multi-window and multi-tab interface for customers to work on APIs. So here the main we need to discuss about sidebar and header bar and builder. These are the main UI parts. Here coming to the slide bar, here we can see it has main tabs, two main tabs. One is history and another one is collections. In history we can see the Postman app application saves every request is sent in the history tab in the sidebar. So means whatever requests I ran using, I will explain in detail how to run the request, how to check the response. Before that, whatever requests we send to the server and receives the response, all the history will be tracked in history tab. Name itself we can say what is history. It will store the whatever requests we do, all will be saved in history tab. Collections tab. This tab we can create the collections and manage the collections from this collections tab. How to create the collections, how to work with the collections, we can see it. And another one is status bar, and in status bar two consoles are available in Postman to see what's going on behind the scenes. Postman console contains a running log of HTTP requests and responses. We can look into the console and everything again, and here if you want to create any new request, new collection, new environment, if you want to see documentation, if you want to create mock server, if you want to monitor any progress, everything we can create into individual blocks and we can look into those. Okay, so instead of that, again we can click on this plus button. We can, if you want to create a request, if you want to create a collection, if you want to create an environment, whatever we showed. In second way we can create like this also. If you click on plus button, it will open like this, and here we can create, if any templates we want to create, any API network related things we want to see, all these we can create it. Is it clear? Here first we can see how to create first API request and run in Postman and analyze the response. Before that, we can look into the Google that is there any free REST APIs are available. In Google, many services will be available to work on RESTful web services. Like as we see in SOAP testing, we found some of the free visuals to work on SOAP testing. One is currency converter one, weather report, weather conversion, weather report one. There are many visuals are available to test SOAP services. Same way, we can look into the REST services as well. There is a portal called https request-responses.in. If you go here we can see the sample request and responses. See here, this is the way they created hosted REST API ready to respond to your AJAX requests. So here if you see, these all are the get methods. API get list user, single user not found, list resources, single resources. These all are the get methods. Wherever they mention get, that means it's a get method. These all are free REST web services calls to practice to ourselves. And the post, as we said, post is to create a new resource, create a data into the database. And the one is put to update. Patch means update. The difference is put to update the entire resource, patch means partially update. Delete means to delete. Again post, register. See, register, create, that same meaning. Like synonyms. Login, to create the login. Get, delayed response. So these all are the methods it's available here. So better we can look into the first one, get method. You see here, if I run here, it has executed and received the response is 0. So what we can do is, this is the URL, okay, sorry, this is the URL. If you look into the Postman tool here, get untitled request. If you click on this, here you can see all the methods available: get, post, put, patch, delete, copy, head, options. These are all different methods available, but as I discussed, 5 methods mainly we will use. First one is get. Here I am giving get URL. To that we need to add the independent methods as well. Like this is the API, right? One is Control C. Sorry, coming to the Postman tool, here you can copy. Here we are sending pages to. To run the request, this is the get method, this is the URL. I want to send the request. To send the request to the server, I have to click on send button. I send the send button and we received the response. If you see here, whatever response we received, it is in JSON format. Here we see JSON. We can look into our response in different formats. One is JSON, XML, HTML, text, auto. So JSON is XML is very understandable. So as by default we have JSON, we can keep it as JSON and we can look into this structure as well. So here we know we are using the get method to retrieve the data from the server. So whenever I use request is like this. So I am sending page equal to 2. Page is the attribute. I am sending value is 2. So that is the reason here it came by default. Key is page and value is 2, because I am sending pages to the server. Here whatever response I received, we can look into here. This is the one we used, right? See, response 200 OK, page 2, 3, 12, 4, EV hold, Charles Morris, Tracy Ramos. Same data is we can see here as well. If you come to here single, see this is the one we received, right? Here list users we are sending page equal to, and single users we are sending users equal to. Copy this, Control C, and run this request again here. We are not sending anything. Send here. See what we received here is, in API users we are sending to. Wait, why do I have to? What I received, ID is 2, name, first name, last name, and avatar. Coming to this, whatever data is there, we are able to see the same here. Earlier what I did, here 2 slashes are there, send, we received the error. See, which is not understandable. And if you go up here, what we can see, 404. What is this 404 means? Here already we have noted down, right? 404 means not found. That means whatever resource we sent to the server, that resource using get method, we didn't find the resource on server. That is the reason we received status as 404 not found. when I remove this / and send request URL get method to the server, and I received the proper response, and I received here is 200k, which is successful message. So like this we have to test each and every method, and we have to look into the response which is understandable or not to the end user. So like this we can look into the some more examples, and at the same time, as I discussed about history, we can see here whatever we have done. If I send the request here, we can see it clearly. I am sending the same request to the server again using send button. Again it has created. In history tab, everything will be saved. Here whatever response we received, here we can see body tab, and under body tab we can see the responses. Here cookies means existed once. In header means you can see the connection related things. When we have executed time and everything. What is the content type? It is application JSON, right? So all related to the tool and what we have done, it will come under here. So if I click on this, by default URL is updated, and here also you can see the parameters. We will call it as a params. Here you can see the parameterization, like parameters. Page is one attribute or one parameter. I am sending the data as 2. Click on send button, proper response will be received. So if I want to delete any of the history, click here and click on delete button. It will be deleted. Coming to the collections, here you can say what is a collection means. It's a group of API requests. We can group all the requests whatever we have executed, what we want to execute, we can keep all in collections. So mainly the use of collections is here we can mainly it is a group of API requests that can be stored and saved in logical arrangements. So if I want to create one collection, click on this plus tab, give any collection like collection history. If you want to give the description, you can give it, otherwise click on create button, it will be created. This is empty. Okay, if I want to anything, we can add request, otherwise we can add folder, you can do anything. If I want to add a request, again give request name, get one, it has created. If you click on get one, by default, because it is empty, we have not provided any URL or nothing. If you want to provide any, like for example, Ctrl C, okay, if I want to run this, I received the response. So where it has stored? It has stored in and saved in collections history. I can maximize it, I can minimize it. So in our future reference, maybe if we have cleared history and I'm not sure what are requests I have executed and everything, like for example, if we received 10 services at once, so we want to save 10 resources data and whatever responses we received, simply what we can do is we can create a collections folder. In a collections folder, for each and every service we can create one requests, and we can keep track using collections. So, and at the same time the important thing is we can create workspaces as well. Sign in to create workspaces. So if you click on sign in to workspaces, we can provide all. Before that only we can create an account into Postman using username and password, we can log into the sign in and we can create the workspaces, which is very helpful. So because once we created the workspace and if we are created an account in Postman, we will get all the notifications related to the any Postman related updates and everything. If we can invite anyone, that means we can suggest the friends and everything to use Postman tool. Here environment, we can give the multiple environment names, because code in real time in testing world, developers will create dev environment where they will deploy their code and they will do the unit testing and everything. Once the dev work is completed, maybe they can move the code into the sit environment, UAT environment and pre-prod. So they have to move the code into the different various environments. So if I want to run the same services in different environments, here we can give the environment tab. We can select the environment, we can add the environments and we can select the environment, which environment we want. Because if we have the same methods want to use, only we need to change the simple URL, SIT URL and UAT and pre-prod, because the URL will be different because the servers will be different, right? SIT servers will be different, UAT servers are different and pre-prod servers are different, but the methods will be should be same, because they are deploying the code into the different environments, means different servers, but the code is same, right? That is the reason whatever methods we are going to be testing REST, the methods and requests will be same, only the endpoint, means the starting point, only the difference. So that is the reason better we can save it in collections and we can use the particular environment on which environment we want to run. Like this we can handle it. Till now, whatever process we have seen in Postman tool, same will be applicable for SOAP also, because whatever we have done till now, same we can do it in in SOAP tool as well. For example, we can see one more example, that is put. Okay, so in put you can see post. You can see here, coming to the Postman, sorry, here I will try like this. Name, job, if I send, see whatever response I am sending name and job to the server. Here I received the, so it received the data whatever based on username sent, username and job, I received the response because I am using the get method. If I am using the post method, see what will happen. It is loading because we are sending the data and it should create in the database. That is the use of post method. So if there is any problem with the database, maybe this whatever data I send, name and job, it shouldn't be saved in the database. Maybe we will get the timeout because whatever backend we are using, maybe it's not stable. In that case, whatever data we send may not be saved into the database. If it is the bad request, we will receive status code as 400. If the resource itself is not found or not available, we will receive 404 as status codes. Let's see, we received the gateway timeout. It took more than the expected time, so we received this error, could not beautify. So we can try like this. We should give multiple tries because these all are freewares, right? So you can try multiple times. This is https request response.in. In that API and users. I want to pass this from body if it is possible. Will it go this way? We can see. We can try like this instead of sending using. If you see here, this is post method. We are sending http request response.in. In that API users, I want to save this data into the database. In our notes, if you see here, post created data. If it is successful, already data is there, and if we simply done post, by default if it is successful, we will receive 200. If it is the new data, if it is created data, what we will receive in specific cases, I told you 201 when it is created. Here you can see 201 is created. In the response body, we see that ID created it. Here also if you see 201 response code is came, and this is the one. Here you can see ID created ID. So why we have not received name and response? In specific cases, see, this is the free data, right? Maybe they have changed their data, or this portal is not updated, whatever it is, but we are receiving the valid data which is created. Like this we will test post. We can look into some other examples here. Coming to the get, we have seen post. We can look post, we have seen. Look into the put. So whenever they provided like this here, we can copy this data, because we can say this is the request we are sending to the server. Method is put method, and here I have to send like this in request API users to. See, updated at. So this name and job is updated with this time. See, updated it. Name and job is we have not received, same as for post. In post response also we have not received it, right? When the data is created, we have received the created ID and at the same time updated it. Here also we have received the updated at. This is the put to update the data. If I want to delete 204 response, because the data is deleting, right? If I want to use delete method, delete, to delete the record, I want to delete the same. I am not passing any data, because in this portal they have not provided any data, right? Request only there, based on the user number it should delete, nothing is there. But here you can see 204 not content. So if you see here 204 means no content, that means the server successfully processed the request but is not returning any content. That is the reason we received 204. This way we have to test all the methods, and whatever methods we have tested, all we can see it here, the transactions and everything. If you want to know anything, see, save request, monitor document, mock. If you want to save this request, save request name, request description, save collection. For example, I can create one collection, H1, save to collection history. Coming to the collections, earlier I created one collections, right? Here it is saved. Like this we can move history to the collections to our future references. This is the way we will use the Postman tool. So here we have seen all the examples very simple, like ID, first name, last name and avatar, like this. But when it comes to the real time in different projects in banking sector or in healthcare sector, in different domains, we will get multiple data, like 100 lines of data we need to be sent. Otherwise we need to handle with 100 lines of data which needs to be stored in the database. So we need to be very careful, and we have to understand the XMLs, JSONs, because we will use XML, either XMLs or JSON. Because when we send 100 lines of data or 200 lines of data or in different parts, we need to be understand easily, because then only we can test it thoroughly, and there is a chance to find the defects. This is all about RESTful services and Postman tool usages. It is very simple tool which we will be used for RESTful services. Please let me know if you have any queries, and you can reach out to me at any time. Thank you.